Hello, it's me, Bino. Welcome back to my channel. I'm an arborist and a tree climber specialist, and what I like to do on my channel is share tree climbing tips with beginners and experts. What I'm going to do today is use a coil and a bight of rope to throw into a tree. Let's get to it. So if I'm just going to use a rope to throw in, a lot of times you can do a coil and then do some wraps around that coil and throw a bight through the coil. I do want to show you something that's a little bit less efficient for me. So I see some guys will get a coil like this, you know, they'll start the coil and they'll make it pretty darn big. Make these, here's the coil, I'll coil it up real quick. They use long loops on their coil and then they start doing their wrap. Okay, good. They get their wrap set up, and then the way that I like to do it is to have a bight and I throw it through here, and now I use that bight as a handle. So, well, this is kind of an off coil, but I do see people using a coil about this long. So a thing to think about when you do a coil that's really long is it's a little bit more weight, and then you have the length. And if it have a small crotch, then you can get hooked up on branches and maybe not make it in as easy. The way that I like to do it, I'll show you now, is same thing, same concept and everything, but I do it with less length. So what I like to do is I'll drop my tail here, and usually that's about as much as I like, depending on how high, but for the most part I like about right here. So that might be about a foot worth of a coil. Now I'll coil it up. Now I do want to have some weight so it'll when I launch it, it'll go higher. Okay, so this will probably be enough. We might be throwing into about maybe 15 to 20 feet. So now that I've gotten this together, now I'll do my wraps around the coil. And now I like to do it to get it a little bit tight so it kind of stays together. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is feed, let me get this all tangled up. I'm going to feed a bight through the eye. So now this is going to act as my handle. So once I get it through, it holds it in. I coil downward, it holds the bottom one in place, and now I throw the bight. And now I put this bight through and I hold it to the rope that I'm going to throw. Okay, so another thing is that you don't want to just get your coil and then just throw it. What happens when you just leave your rope like this, it's weight, you know? So you could have this great coil, and now when you throw, the weight of your rope, when this reaches up to where you think you're going to have it, the weight will stop your coil and drop it to the ground. So a better way to do it is to get coils in your other hand, you know, and these ones could be longer. So what you're going to do is have coils set up in your other hand. Now, you know, think about your length. So about each one of your arm spans might be around 5 feet at least. So now that you got some coils in this hand and you got coils in this hand, you're ready to throw. And once again, I like to get about maybe within a foot or less of, I'll drop my tail, and that's going to be more my guide. And now I'll start wrapping. Now, the amount of coils that you're going to use will depend on how much weight you think you need. And so, you know, for me, I don't even count them. I just get them, and then when it feels about right, and I'm thinking, you know, so each couple coils might be about 3 feet in length. I do want it to be a little bit heavy, so when I launch it, it'll go higher. Okay, so I'll do about this many coils, and now I'll wrap it. So now wrap downward. I like to wrap downward and keep them close to each other. And I'll do, I don't know. It's more like, what are you comfortable? You may not have to do this many wraps. It's more what you're comfortable with. Now I'll get the bight and I'll slide it through. When I do that, slide it through the eye on top. Now that's going to hold it in place. You see how this bottom one holds it in place? Now get the bight and I'll hold it to my line. Now, this is kind of all out of shape here. Now I'm at this point. I'll make coils on my right hand. So, you know, this is about 5 foot length. I'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that may be around 20 foot of coils on my right hand. Now the idea with those coils is now when I launch it, the weight of the rope is not going to hold it back and drop it. When I'm throwing, I'm going to throw it up and release these in that same motion, and now these coils are going to release, giving me that extra 20 feet for this to go higher. All right, let's throw in. 1, 2, 3. Nice. And then it unspools and comes right back to the side you want. Now it's isolated, and you can, if you're using an MRS system, you could just climb up. If you're doing SRS, you might want to go back over one of the branches. I really like the loose coil because it comes out and it drops right where you want it. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the handle of this. So if you have a real short handle, maybe a little bit less leverage, you do have some coil, so you might hit the ground if you make your handle too big. But if you want to do a higher throw in, you can make your bight a little bit longer, and now where you hold it, you know, you got a little bit more leverage for that high throw. This is how I throw in with the rope, using a loose coil and a bight of rope. I'll go over a little bit about it, making short coils, enough that I feel I need to throw into a branch, wrapping around, going downward and bring it up through the eye of the coil, and then using the bight as a handle. And the length that I like, I can make. Also having coils on your opposite hand. That's a real important step, because if you don't have coils in this hand and you're letting it loose, a lot of times this coil will stop right before the branch and drop. This is one of the ways I like to throw into a tree, using a rope and a coil. If you guys have other methods that you like to use, using a rope, throwing into a tree, please share. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you like what we do, and by all means, share our videos with your friends. Take care. We'll see you next time.